Psalm 63, still. it, okay. Last time, verse 7, because you are my helper, I sing for joy in the shadow of your wings. Under his protection. His protection is supposed to give us joy. One of the difficulties I experience, and I don't want to replow a bunch of ground, but for me, the last time that God was my helper and that I found safety, security in the shadow of his wings kind of gets obscured in my mind by whatever my current crisis is. This is a weakness that I am dissatisfied with in myself, and I eagerly hope that God, by his Spirit, will mature me so that when the current crisis happens, I can reflect on that recent time, or sometimes not so recent, when I found the security of his wings overshadowing me. And that brings joy. Okay. Verse 8, I cling to you. Your strong right hand holds me securely. Now, the concept, the theme of security is is timeless, because I don't care what period of history you lived in, I don't care what your geographic location was, your ethnic heritage, doesn't even, none of that matters to the fact that we all need security. In fact, I think one of the strongest human needs is a sense of, if not safety, at least security. Now, is it weird to you that I would say those, I would say it in that way, that safety and security may not be the same thing? Here's what I mean. There are times when I do not feel safe, and yet, cognitively, I know that I am secure. I know that I am protected, even though the threat is still there of some harm or misfortune or bad thing out there. I feel unsafe or at risk, but there is still this security. And David says, I cling to you. One of the most significant things about the kind of security that we long for, that we need, is we can't provide that for ourselves. Well, to a degree, I suppose we can. There is this, which often thwarts and obstructs our security, and that is our own dumb decisions. There are stupid things I can do, and you can too, that will disrupt our security. But David says, I cling to you. He could have said, I cling to your promises. He could have said, I cling to the facts that I know, and I think that was in there. But he said, I cling to you. With all our kids up and grown, and now our grandkids aren't little kids anymore, I enjoy when I get to watch young parents and little kids. It's interesting to me that little kids in an environment where they're unsure, not unsafe, just unsure, you know what they do always? They cling to mommy or daddy. And that's exactly the picture that David draws for us, that we cling to our dad, our father, our parent. Your strong right hand holds me securely. In David's day, the right hand was considered the hand of strength and power. Uh, I know this is probably inappropriate bathroom talk on some levels, but you did other things with your left hand. Your right hand, that was what your word was given with your right hand. Your affection was expressed with your right hand. It was the hand of strength. David says, "Your strong right hand holds me securely." Whatever hand God is going to use is going to be strong. But David even strengthens it further. Your right hand holds me securely. So much of what I read in Psalms is also autobiographical. This idea, I cling to God, and His strong right hand holds me securely. One of the issues for me is I'm still learning how to let Him hold me. There's a lot of times that it's in me, and it doesn't excuse it, but it's in me that I'm gonna try and provide my own security. And there are a lot of times I will wiggle out of His strong right hand. Now, there are a lot of people that believe, well, that's not even possible. Well, in my life, I've seen it be possible that I would pull myself away from the security of His strong right hand. Do you ever do that? Obviously, it's not a physical thing. It's an emotional, mental, spiritual thing. When I'm looking for my security from somewhere other than God's strong right hand, I'll eventually I'll be very disappointed. Sometimes immediately. I and others in my life can pull off this security thing on a temporary basis, but over the long term, I can't, neither can they. When life in America gets nutty, crazy, insecure, I think every Christian, wherever you fall on the political spectrum, it's essential that we not forget our security doesn't come from a government or a person. It comes from God and His strong right hand. In marriage, this is true of any relationship, but marriage is one of the relationships that I see this big in. When we feel unsafe, insecure in our marriage, we will always, our first default is we become defensive. So that everything, pretty much anything our spouse says, when we are in this posture of insecurity, we take it in its negative sense. Pardon me. I just see it over and over and over again. Well, one of our duties to one another in marriage is to do what we can, and we can't make anybody else feel secure. But we can do things that will influence them towards security. And here's one of the biggest ones. If they believe us and have experienced us to be honest, there's tremendous security in that. If we've demonstrated that we show up, there's security in that. If we demonstrate that we're for them, we want their best. We in fact, whether you're the husband or the wife, ideally, both should be making it clear to one another that their good, their welfare, their security is more important than ours. We prefer one another in love. Security comes from that. And when there's security in a relationship, it grows mature and strong and sound. Oh, and one more thing. It serves as an example. Have you seen, I know you have, a couple, you look at them and they look like, I mean, just your observation, borderline judgment. Man, those guys, yee, do they even like each other? Well, I can tell you, when that happens, it came to be that way due to a lack of security. Well, now the other side of the coin is that couple that you see and you think, wow, they just look so at ease with each other. They're so comfortable with each other. And it's obvious they really like each other. They respect each other. They prefer each other. And for me, when I see those kinds of couples, I think that when I grow up, that's what I want to be. I'm not as good at it as I want to be, but my goal, one of my goals in my marriage is to be that couple, so that when a younger person or a younger couple observe Debbie and I, they will think, I want some of that. Well, security. It's not smart to neglect our security. Just to go back, David says, I cling to you. Don't cling to my income, my reputation. Don't cling to my education. Don't cling. There's so many things that we cling to that are fleeting. They can't last, and they can't provide us the real security that we really want. So the challenge today is just to do some reflection. Are you clinging to him? And are you learning to live within the security of being held by his strong right hand? And then last one, whatever relationships you're in, whether it's marriage or business or friendship, are you a source of encouraging security for your spouse or the other people or the other person? You have to be intentional about that, or else it won't happen. It just doesn't happen without intentionality. Okay, I'll do better next time on So Care with Stevie.